So I'm super excited for this one and to talk to you about it today. This is for you if like you struggle to write content, or even if you're great at writing content, but you feel like it's like not converting very well, or you're wondering why it's not connecting in the way that you want it to, all the things, I got you. We're going to talk about the 5 components to a post. So this is like whether you've been writing content forever, whether you're just starting writing, it is so helpful to think about it through the 5 pieces I'm going to give you and just sort of like walk you through each piece, why it matters, all the things. Hi, Jen. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I really like them. Very, very just thrilled with them. I have a second set and I had them on here too, but currently tape is not the move. So I got these little command hook things. And so hopefully later, although it's so weird how it changed my lighting. How weird is that? So hopefully later tonight, second set is going up. I'm just gonna keep adding the Christmas. Okay, so whether you just started writing, have been writing for a long time, this matters so much. And it's like such easy things. It's just the things that we forget. So we're gonna walk through what all of those are because it is just too easy to let it slide. Okay, so if you have questions as I go, just ask me. Obviously, like I respond better to your needs, like here to serve you. So you let me know what you need, but I'll definitely walk you through these. Jen said how perfect that I'm here when you're talking about content. I can't imagine what you mean, Jen. I have no idea. Okay, so first of the 5, excuse me. First of the 5 is my favorite one, the most obvious one, the one that if you're my client, I ask you constantly, which is what's in it for them? I think that so often we have a tendency to write our posts as though people already know us, already know what we're about, already know why they should read, that kind of thing. But the truth is, if you're putting out content, of course, it's to warm up your current audience, but in large part, it's to reach people that have never read your shit before. And so if you're always writing like they should know these things, specifically what's in it for them, but all of the things we're going to talk about, you're just missing such a huge opportunity. It's like starting in the middle of a story is kind of what you're doing if you're writing content without some of these things, particularly, again, what's in it for them. You're starting in the middle of the story. Like they haven't gotten the hook. They don't know why they should read. They don't know why they should pay attention, right? And so the more explicit you can be about that, the better. It's going to make such a difference in you just writing, assuming that no one has ever read anything from you before, right? Every post like that's true. Because 1, it's just going to reinforce stuff for your current audience. And 2, it's going to help people come into your audience. If I start reading a post and I'm like, am I missing something? Did I miss the jet? Like I must have missed that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm out. Like you've lost me before I've even begun, right? So that's really, 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 really important. I just want to preface all of these with that, but definitely keep that in mind. The next thing I would say to that is, well, I'm jumping around, sorry. Okay, so we're going to talk about the first point, but these are more like points that matter no matter what, which is like, don't assume everyone has read your shit. Assume they haven't. They don't want to come in the middle of the story. They want to start at the beginning with you. And the other thing is, I'm going to give you these 5 things. I want to be clear that I'm not saying all 5 have to be in every post no matter what. That's not what I mean. Now, if you can write some posts with all 5, that will be really, really, really amazing and important. Don't feel like you have to include all 5. Don't get in that mindset now, which I like hate doing stuff like this sometimes because I'm like, really want to preface it that like, I don't want you to now get in the mindset where like all your content sucks and now it has to have these 5 no matter what. That is not what I'm saying. But you're going to see why these are really important, and you're going to see why at least including some in every piece of content you write is going to make a big fucking deal, not just for you to connect with your audience, but to actually convert them. So that's another thing we're going to talk about. And then I swear I'm going to get into the points, which is this idea of content should do both of those things for you. It should both connect you with your people and make them want to buy from you. And if you are missing some of these 5 points, it's very possible that the pendulum is swinging one way or another, meaning like if they're already in your audience, if your content converts really well, you're really having trouble pulling new people in, or maybe people are always coming in. You have a ton of people that like you, and that enjoy like what you're putting down and all of those things, but they're not converting on the back end. So remember that we really wanted to do both. And that's why all of this is really helpful to look at these 5 points. Again, that does not mean under any circumstance that you have to have all of them in your stuff. Okay, cool. If you're here, say hi. And also, I asked this question right at the beginning, but I'm sure most of you missed it, but I have to know, are you like a decorate before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving person? I feel like I need ammo at this point against Kenny to be like, well, everyone on my live stream said, okay, so let me know before Christmas, after Christmas, or before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're not decorating for Christmas after Christmas, but you do you. Hey, Jen. Yes, connect and convert. Hi, Katie. Jen, after, really? I feel like you don't have rules. Like, I feel like you would be like anytime, right? I'm just mad because you're siding with Kenny, that's all. Okay, I won't be mad at you guys, I promise. I promise. You guys started early. Yeah, I think it's this year too. I think it's definitely like this year vibes, like 2020 vibes for sure. Janice is after. What the heck, guys? Okay. All right. So maybe I need to give Kenny a break. Jen, yes, anytime. So good. Oh, Ariel, see you before. Okay. All right. So we're split. We got it. Okay. So first thing, I already started and then I lost track. So first thing is what's in it for them. Like there's just nothing more important to grab people with than be explicit. Tell them why they should read this post. Tell them what's in it for them. Hey, Sherry, tell them why, like what is in it for them in reading this post. Like if you can even be as explicit as saying that at the beginning of the post, like if you want to know how my clients go from 0 to 6 figures so often, read below. If you're struggling with your content, read this post. If you're, needing to know what the 5 pieces are to a great post, read below. Like be super explicit with what's in it for them. One thing I am constantly reminding my clients, no matter if we're talking about content, sales pages, selling, any of the things, is don't expect your clients to make all the connections, just do it for them. Right? So don't expect your potential clients to read your post and go, oh, yeah, okay, I get why I would read that. Here's what's in it for me. Just tell them. Don't make them do any extra work, right? Like that's it. And this is day after every year. Yeah, okay. All right. So this is a thing. Belinda said, in all fairness, I'm usually an after Thanksgiving and I commit hard to like February, but this year everything goes. Belinda, is that just because you can't be bothered to put them away? Because I feel like that's more what happens for me. But it's so, let me say this. It's so obvious to you why they should read, what you mean, what's in it for them. It is so not obvious to most of us when we're just inundated with content and I'm scrolling constantly. Like I need that thing to capture me and tell me why I should read it, why I should pay attention. And I'm not saying you have to do a big headline on everything, but be explicit early and often what's in it for them to even engage with this post, right? Like we are so inundated with noise that our ability to cut through the noise directly relates to our ability to connect and convert, right? That's it. Like our ability to cut through the noise. What helps us cut through the noise? Tell them what's in it for them. Like that is how all of our brains function. Like when we're scrolling through content, whether it's like a recipe or a great business post or like someone posting about what they bought at Target, right? Like I want to know what's in it for me. Oh, what's in it for me is deciding if I want that thing from Target or if I'm going to make that recipe next week or if I care what this business person has to say. Like we need to give them that click in early and often. That is going to make it so they're drawn in and they want to read. Again, sometimes we start in the middle of the story and we're like 5 paragraphs deep before we're getting to the point for them. But most people probably didn't get that far down. So think about that too. Like, it really is like a, how early can I say it so I know I want to continue reading, right? Yeah, holiday decorating, Sherry. I feel like when it's officially fall on September 21st, it's fair game. A girl after my own heart. I think that is absolutely true. Although I'm in Florida, so it's still like 80. So it's like basically if it drops below 90, I feel like all bets are off. Love that. Our ability to cut through the noise is directly related to our ability to connect and convert 100%. Like, if you can keep that in mind, and I don't mean that you have to like put all this pressure on it and now it's like, oh my God, it's noisy. How do I get through the noise? But like, how you get through the noise is to be explicit and really tell people what's in it for them. I think like sometimes we're almost so quick to like want to do all this like, you know, like storytelling and whatever. And I love story. I think story is a huge part of branding, but like just be obvious why I should read the story. What's in it for me? Our human brains are constantly filtering for that. Like that is what we're looking for, you know, whether we mean to or not. That's basically how our brains are built to think, you know what I mean? And so when we can play to that instead of against that, we're going to speed up the process of someone reading our stuff. When we speed up the process of them reading our stuff, we're more connected. The more often I connect with them, the more likely I am to convert. Simple as that, right? Belinda says it's just so unfair that people can't read my mind. Agree. Cosign. Like what is that? What is that? But right, like the thing too that happens is we're so familiar with our own content, but what's in it for them feels ridiculously obvious. And so we're less likely to do it over time. And so this is the one that no matter how long my client has been in business, how long they've been writing content, I would say this is the one that I'm constantly like, but did you say that? Did you tell them that? Where is that? Why don't I see that? Like, because it's the one that's easiest to follow off of because it's so obvious to you, right? Okay. Second one is talk about their pain points. So this one is so interesting because I feel like a lot of people kind of have like resistance to pain points in the sense of like, they kind of don't want to like, you know, their audience to feel like, oh, I'm only talking about pain points. I'm pushing on their pain points. Like a lot of my clients are like kind of like averse to like going there with pain points. And I totally get some of that. Like, I don't necessarily feel like we want to like rip open people's wounds all the time. But the thing with a pain point is it shows you that I get it. It shows you that I get where you're at. Like I have a lot of mindset content going out this week, and there are a lot of places in it where I'm saying stuff like, I get that this is cheesy and annoying. I get that this sounds like bullshit if you haven't experienced it. I get that it's probably frustrating to read this right now. Like I'm saying all that because it's true, because it is the pain point they're experiencing. There's no way you're going to read some of my content this week and not want to be like, cheesy. So like, let me just say it, right? That shows you that I get it. I hear you. I know how this is going to feel. I know what it feels like to be eye rolling that. Do you know what I mean? And that makes it so it's easier to connect with me. And again, eventually convert because you get that I get it. If I was writing and not putting any of that in there, not being like, I get that you probably are frustrated reading this right now, it would just widen the gap, right? It would just make us feel less connected. Like, you know, when you're trying to explain something to a friend and you guys just aren't saying eye to eye and you can like feel that connection pulling apart, right? This is the same thing. So it's not like pain points are there to like pour salt in the wound or like really dig it in or whatever. It's to be like, I fucking get it. Okay. I get where you're at. I get what you're struggling with. I get how this is going to come across to you. I get how this might feel. I get why it's hard, whatever it is, right? But like, if you can think of pain point as I get it, not like I'm here to make you feel bad so you buy, we're playing a totally different game. But if you really, really just want to avoid the pain, so to speak, no one ever gets that you get it. Do you see what I mean? Like we're missing that point of like, here's all this great stuff and I get it, right? Jen says, be super explicit. All the connections, make all the connections for them, tell it what's in it for them, say, read this post below, 5 things my post should have. Oh, so good, Jen. Thank you. You're just like taking all the notes for me. Yeah, this is great. If anybody wants to know what I just said, read Jen's comment. So helpful, Jen. Thank you. Sherry says approaching the pain point with integrity makes all the difference. Instead of coming at it from trying to ignite the shame or scarcity or urgency, if you can share it from a relating, wanting to help support them, it's awesome, even as a consumer. 100%. Like, I totally disagree with the idea of like, let me make you feel bad enough to buy. Like, no. But I also disagree with the idea of, let me never talk to why you feel bad, and then maybe you'll still buy. Like, it has to be both, right? There has to be an acknowledgement of why you feel how you feel right now and what else we can do about that, right? Like, and if I'm never acknowledging, like, I get how you feel, like, we all know what that feels like in a relationship. Shit, right? We want that acknowledgement as humans. We crave understanding. We crave, having that. And so if you're not giving that in your content, you're just missing this huge opportunity. You guys know that I frame and think about everything, content, sales, marketing, service, whatever, through the lens of relationships. And so when you think about this in terms of relationship, like, when do you feel best in a relationship? Like, when someone gets it, when someone can hold your hand and be like, I hear you. I hear that this is frustrating. Like, that's when we connect the most sometimes. So really make sure that's infused in your content. Make sure that you're not shying away from the pain point so much that your audience is missing how much you get it, and missing that you understand where they are. Like, even on Happy Thoughts, something Sarah and I try to do a lot is be like, okay, we're talking about mindset from this place of like having been working on mindset for a really long time, right? So constantly on episodes, we're like, but here's what I thought when I started. Here's what I felt. Here's where I was frustrated. Here's what made me roll my eye, that kind of stuff, because we don't want to just be talking from a pedestal. That's like not the vibe that connects and converts. We want to be going, we get it. And here's the transformation that's happened, right? So this helps you create that. Sherry says, I'm imagining a therapist's website that never addresses the pain point. How would we ever know they can help us tackle what we're struggling with? 100%. And like, to be honest, like, that is one of the reasons they're buying, is because they want you to help them with what they're struggling with right now. So if you never mention that, or never clear and specific and explicit that you get that, you're just going to be the person whose content they love to consume, but who they probably won't buy from, honestly, right? They're gonna be like, she's great, she's inspiring. But, right, we add in that, like, and I've been there and I've done that and I get it and I know what you're thinking, everything starts to change in terms of like, not just she's great, but like, oh, she gets me. I always tell my clients, like, when your people are saying to you, it's like you're in my head, that's when you're going to make sales. So you can't be in their head without addressing the pain point. Simple as that. You just can't, right? When someone is saying to you, it's like you are in my head, they're so connected to you and they're right there with conversion, right? This is the way to do that. Okay. Next thing is give value. I know. Obvious yet not. Like, one of the things I stress so much with my clients, and I feel like my clients are just epic examples of, is give people value before they've ever paid you a dime, and then they want to pay you, right? And so that means, like, what can they learn? What can they take away? What can they gain new perspective on? What can you challenge them to go do? Like, whatever that is, like, don't hold back the value. Like, give value really consistently in your content. And not only will people feel more connected with you, but they're so much closer to converting. Because like, if I've gotten a result from like watching your free shit, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it from your paid stuff, right? That's what my clients say to me constantly when they're hiring me. Like, oh, like, just listening to literally helped me do X, so I knew I had to hire you. This is the kind of stuff that really makes a difference, is like, if your free content can move the needle forward, even in giving them a new way to think about things, a new way to look at things, that makes a transformation for them, however big or small, they are light years ahead in terms of being someone that buys from you. If your content again is like good, but like there's no takeaway for me, I don't know what's in it for me, I don't feel connected, and now I'm not getting value from it, or I'm not able to like go take that and do something with it, like it doesn't make me one step closer to hiring you at all, actually. And in fact, like my personal take is like, if you're not giving value, it's sort of a turnoff because I can't count on you to give that when we work together. But if I see you giving value really, really consistently in your content, very reliably, my brain will make the connection that if I pay you, it will be that but better, right? So the value piece just cannot be missed. And like, I really am seeing like so many people almost shy away from that in our space, I think, where, you know, they're trying to kind of like put out content and save the value for like behind the scenes. And I just totally don't think that helps you make more sales. I especially don't think that it helps you make more sales from people that are really a great fit. So here's another reason why I really believe in putting value in everything you're doing, because you guys that listen to this, that come on these lives, that listen to literally, like, you get what I'm about. Like, you get my values, you get how I think about things, you get how I process business. And so if you consumed that before we work together, it is so fucking useful because we're just on the same page. We're just aligned. Like, the way I think about things, the way I process is very similar to like what you're thinking about, how you're processing, and it's going to make coaching and value alignment so good. If I'm holding back on my value and kind of keeping it behind this secret door, and then we start working together and it turns out our values are not aligned at all, coaching is going to feel like this, right? So for me, the more value I'm giving, the more right fit clients I'm attracting. Like, it is not at all a question, a consideration, a wonder, like, do they get it? Like, my clients are coming to sales calls going, well, I've listened to literally, I watched these Facebook lives and this really resonated and this happened and this. And so now I'm ready to do that work with you. Great. That's what I need, right? Like, I want my value content to pre-qualify someone. So, you know, if someone hates mindset, they're probably not going to like working with me. Let's figure that out on the front end. Like, if someone's not into the idea of detachment, I will probably be a tough coach for them. But like, since I talk about it all the time in my value content, it makes it so much easier. So I really want you to think of like, your value content becomes a filter so that the right people are coming to you, so that day after day, they're reading how you think about sales, how you think about business, whatever that is, right? So you think about mindset. And when they start working with you, like, you're already on the same page. You're not having to reestablish that. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing more useful than that, in my opinion, in terms of attracting right fit clients. Like, go give all the value and watch who is aligned to what you're saying. And those people are the ones that are going to connect and convert. Does that make sense? Belinda said, I like to keep my value behind door number 3. I mean, yeah, obviously. Like, make them jump through all the hoops, right? No, I'm kidding. I like that though. But I do think that that's how a lot of people, you know, think about content. It's like, I don't want to give away too much value in my content. Like, I want it to be paid. But I think for me, like, that's when it's like, yeah, but like how are we determining great fit at that point? Like, my take is like, give all the value. It's such a good fit that they can't not work with you if they're right for you. Like, because you will feel so connected. Like, you know, most of my clients that are saying, listen to literally, I did this, they're like feeling so connected to me because we have that value alignment, right? And so not only is that making them more connected, but then they go do something with the things I'm telling them. And they're like, oh my God, like, that got me a client. That made me 5K, whatever. I need to hire you, right? That really is an ideal setup for how content should take people through, that it feels like they're super connected because you have value alignment. They do something with it. They see a result. They almost can't not hire you. If you hold too much of that back, then you're having to establish all of that groundwork after they've paid you. And I feel like that's where so many people like almost like lose the sale on the back end, so to speak, because it was never clear enough on the front end what their values were, where they stood on things. Hi, Jana. She said, I love it. Your value content becomes a filter so the right people come to you. 100% hands down. I really, really have just seen that over and over again. It makes such a freaking difference. Okay, so next piece is a credibility marker, right? So people get so jacked up about this part, and I'm going to make it really simple. A credibility marker just is some little nugget about why I should hire you, right? And again, this is us not assuming people already have read all of our shit. Like, right? I think that we are so quick to assume like, well, if you're in this group, like actually this would be interesting. If you're on this live or if you're watching the replay, I'm just even curious about this. Did you guys even know that I have 2 master's degrees? Do you know that I have a master's in mental health counseling and MBA? Like I bet so many people that consume my content a lot and are in this group like don't even know that, right? And like it's not, it's just so interesting to see how easy it is to say these credibility markers once or twice here or there and think everybody knows it. And so really back off from saying it. But you're doing yourself such a disservice because the credibility markers are where we're moving to with connection and conversion, right? So number one, connection. A lot of other people that have masters in mental health counseling or MBAs feel connected with me because we're on the same page there. Slash, it often helps us to convert whatever that marker is because it makes people feel safe buying from us. Like it's like, oh, like that makes me feel more clear and safe buying from you. But it doesn't have to be a degree. Like that's just the one that came to mind for me. Right. Hold. What do you have? Oh my God, sorry. I wrapped a present for a friend and apparently she got some of the wrapping from it. Okay, great. So that is what also makes them feel safe buying. So it doesn't have to be a degree or whatever. It could be a credibility marker about like a result you've gotten a client or past experience you have or part of your story, or maybe it is a degree for you. Maybe it's a result you've gotten yourself, whatever. But like that is going to be the place where I feel connected to you because I'm like, oh, I want that, or oh, that sounds amazing, whatever. Or it can be the place where I convert because I'm like, oh, yes, okay, like, yes, I want that. I need that credibility in my life kind of thing. Slash, if you watch the live stream I did a little while ago about sales and how like also matters what people can say to other people in their lives, like someone can go to their husband and be like, oh, I want to hire Sherry because she's gotten XYZ results for her clients. That makes it so much easier. If you're never sharing that, you're just making it so much harder for them to get on board, to feel safe, and then to convince whoever they need to convince in their life that it's the right step. So add credibility markers to every freaking post. Even if the credibility marker is just you saying, like, my clients. Like I say my clients constantly in my content. Like for me, that feels like a credibility marker that I'm adding. Like my clients use XYZ to get results. My clients are doing this all the time. My clients get this result, whatever. Even that is still a credibility marker, right? But you have to say it so consistently. Like doesn't just belong on the about page of your website, right? Like we're all so guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that. That's why I use that example. I'm sure like, you know, yeah, Sherry knew about one, Jana knew. Yeah. Right. So it's like, and Sherry like follows me a ton, right? Like she comes to my lives a lot. I'm so grateful to you, Sherry, right? It's just so easy to see how like you can just miss those things unless someone's constantly reinforcing it, right? Sherry says, I'll own it. I struggle with sharing credibility markers through my online content. Sherry, don't feel like you have to, but if you want to, tell us like what feels like the weird piece there or what feels like the struggle. I'm going to do this in the next month 3 times, adding it to my blog post right now. So good. Yeah. I love that. Because again, it is just so easy to get out of that habit and for people to miss it and to feel like you've said it all the time. And if you feel like you said it all the time, you are literally just starting, right? One of my clients, you guys are probably gonna know exactly who I mean, but she shares this credibility marker all the time about moving to Bali with $800 in her pocket and then what she was able to create. People literally use that example in our industry constantly in so many different ways, right? People know that story. You probably know exactly who I'm talking about if I say that, right? That is so useful, right? She cannot say that enough. Like she hasn't even scratched the surface of saying that enough. But like notice how that becomes so synonymous with someone else. It becomes so connecting to be like, oh, that's where I am, or that's what I want, or like, oh my God, if you were able to create that from that, like you have to be the mentor for me. It makes a big fucking difference, right? So do not ever feel like you can even say that enough. Like in every single post, if you can add some credibility marker, again, whether it's like results, your own results, client results, experience, a story that everyone knows about your brand, education, experience, it doesn't matter, but tell people, right? And mention clients too. Like even that adds credibility that you have clients, right? That's a huge credibility add. So make it easy for people to see that credibility, to feel safe buying from you. That is such a huge way. And it can be such a small thing. Like, you know, I'm just making this up, right? But like, it could be like one little sentence. Like I could just be like, and part of when I got my MBA, this is something I learned as well. Or like, and I often use my MBA to help clients with like, it can be the smallest thing, right? Or like, my clients often get X results because we are focused on this thing that you're giving value on. Like it can be one little itty bitty piece, but oh my gosh, it's so impactful. And the more I hear it, the more I associate you with that thing, like that client example I just used, right? Sherry said, I worry about misleading with a highlight stat and not sharing the full picture. I have a background in nonprofit and was responsible for 600K in fundraising. But I feel like that makes it sound like I single-handedly did that. But the events and initiatives I led involved many people to pull it off. Angeline says same. Hi, Angeline. Okay, Sherry. So I think what I would say to you there is that's true for anyone. Like Lit Up Life's going to make 700K this year or whatever it is that we're going to make around there. That we have a team. Do you know what I mean? Like part of that is my clients. Like my income is based off of their revenue. So a lot of it is my clients. Like, you know, my clients share launch numbers all the time. Well, they had a whole team helping them do that. Like that is totally normal. Like I think that sometimes we care so much and we want to be in so much integrity, which I totally honor you for, that we forget that it's true for everyone else too. Like we're like, oh yeah, but I didn't single-handedly do that. Well, I don't know anybody that's making 600K single-handedly, to be perfectly honest. So, you know, just remember those pieces. Like don't hold yourself to a standard that is unreasonable or doesn't exist there, right? Like totally appreciate you wanting to be so in integrity there, but just for context, like I don't think any of us are doing it alone, but I don't think that takes away the ownership. Like I still very much own what a Lit Up Life created this year, and it took a village, you know what I'm saying? Same with my clients, like they still should and can very much own their results, but it takes a village. And I do think that this is sometimes where people get tripped up with the credibility marker thing. So I like deeply appreciate you for sharing that, Sherry, which is that. And then I also think like people want to add so much context versus like one sentence, but like that is what things like telling your story and about page, things like that are for, where you can dive deeper into the context, but don't feel like you have to do that in every post. And sometimes that rub really sticks us where we're like, oh, if I can't share all of it, I don't want to share any of it. And I'm personally a little bit like that. I love to give context. But that's just something like it's become a practice habit, is being able to share enough to keep my post short and reasonable, but to know that there are other ways for people to find out more about that if they want to too. So like that might very much be the opportunity for you here, where like you certainly have a place where you're like explaining like I worked in this way, we fundraised, we did these things, it was amazing, whatever. But doesn't mean you can't share it in a post. Like by sharing a piece of it, you don't have to share all of it every time, if that makes sense, right? Like every time I share my income, I don't necessarily have to be like, but just so we're clear, that's also based on client revenue and da 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 da. Like, do you know what I mean? That is obvious and clear in many places in my business, but it's not going to show up every single time I talk about it. So I hope that just is helpful for everyone listening, gives a little bit of permission there. Like certainly have places where you do share context, but don't feel like it has to show up every time either. And that, because that is what makes us like stop from sharing the credibility. Does that make sense? Okay. Last thing, obvious thing too, but worth saying, is tie it back to a result. This is the other thing that I feel like people feel like a broken record on, or like they can do it too much, or like people already get it, right? Mm-mm. Every single post you make should tie back to the result you help your clients get. Simple as that. Every post. If it is not, they're not making that connection that you are the person to help them get X. So they're not feeling as connected, and they're definitely not converting. Why are you putting out that post? Because you want to help them get X result. Why can't we say that in every post, right? You read most of my posts that are going to say something like, because this is what will help you make more income, or because this is what's going to make you feel more lit up, or because this is what's going to help you, nail mindset so you can make more money, whatever that is, right? You got to say it. And this is, I think, one of the number one things people miss, because they feel like, well, obviously I'm a business coach, I help you make money, I don't just say that every post. Incorrect. Incorrect assumption. Say it every post. If I want to be known as the business coach who helps you make money, I need to say that all the time. Again, because one, I'm not going to assume that you've ever read anything else I've done. And two, I care that it's about what's in it for you. But this is something I tell my clients a lot, which is like, you can talk about almost anything as long as you're tying it back to the result that you help them get. So it doesn't mean you can't share like a super connected story about something you did over the weekend, but tell me how that point relates to me and what result it's going to help me get. If you tell that story and then don't link it in at the end, I just think your content's nice. I don't think that you're someone that's going to be able to help me get results, right? So it's going to feel like a broken record when you're doing it, but I promise it's what's going to start sinking in for people that you are the person to help them do that, right? Repetition is so meaningful in marketing. We have to hear so many times until we start framing someone in a certain way. Like if you're in here, you probably think of me and you think of mindset, strategy, and execution. You probably think of me and you think of one-on-one. You think of me helping clients grow really fast. Like those are probably really set points around me and my content, because those are things I talk about all the time. It's not an accident. Does that make sense? So framing yourself with the result all the time, like this content is to help you get this result. I'm here to help you get this result. This value tip is going to help you get this result, is absolutely imperative if you want them to start seeing you as someone they should hire to get that result. If you're not even talking about your free shit enough, like you are just expecting them to jump through so many hoops to hire you. Does that make sense? Okay. You're welcome, Sherry. So everything, tie it back at the end, tie it back at the end, tie it back at the end. Like that is such a good thing to be asking yourself. Like, am I even making this clear? Like I could be talking about mindset all the time, but if I wasn't tying it back to like, and this is how you can use it to make money in your business, you're not going to see me as someone who can help you make money in your business. You're going to be like, I like her mindset content. Do you see what I mean? But I can write mindset content all the time as long as I'm going, hey, and this is how it's going to help you make more money in your business. And now you're like, oh, I would love to get her help on mindset so I can make more money in my business. It's kind of that simple and that hard, like, because it's so difficult to say the same shit over and over again when it's you. But it's so simple when you do it, how much people start making that connection, right? Nobody is ever sick of hearing you share the result if that's the result they want. Do you see what I mean? Like, if the result you want is more money in your business, every time I share that, you're not like, who cares? Right? No, you're like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Tell me more, right? So really important to give yourself the permission to do that and to kind of be strategic with that. So again, like, you can write content about whatever you want to write it about, but the strategic piece is, are you making sure to tie it in at the end? Because it really, really, really will make all the difference, again, in them not only feeling connected to you, but being able to convert because they see you as the person to help them solve that. This is especially a convert one, right? I need to see you in my mind as someone who helps me get that result, or why else would I buy from you? Like, insert whatever result. I'm just using the example of money because that's me and I'm a business coach. But like, say you're a health coach, like, are you saying something every single time that connects to the result you're getting people so that I start to see you as someone who's going to help me with that? And then I can't help but buy from you if I really, really want that result. So this is like the hack, this last one, to give yourself if you feel like I'm putting out a lot of great content and it's not converting at all. I would challenge you, like, go back to your content and look, are you sharing the result every time? If you're not, it probably makes sense why the conversion isn't there, because they're liking your content, but they're not necessarily seeing you as someone who's going to get them that specific result. Right? If you say that every post, it's almost impossible for them not to see you as that. Does that make sense? Like, it's just such a shortcut and hack for you. Every time you write a post, just going back through and doing a double take. Did I mention what result this helps them get? Did I frame it to the problem I solved? Did I take it back to that one result I help people get? It's a game changer, right? And it also gives you a lot of freedom to like explore different concepts you want to talk about, because you're always bringing it back to that. And that's like your grounded piece. Cool. Any questions on that? Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to recap them really quick, but if you have anything that's lingering, let me know. So, all right, 5 posts or 5 components to a great post. What's in it for them? Capture that early, say it explicitly. What are their pain points? Get in their head, show them you know what they're struggling with, help them see that you fucking get it, right? Give value. Don't feel like you have to hold back. Value is going to be your best fit filter for potential clients, and it's going to make it so that people want to buy from you if they've gotten results from the value you've given for free. Credibility marker, right? Help them feel safe hiring you. Help them feel good talking to other people about why they're hiring you. Help them see that reason over and over and over again so that it feels easier and easier and easier to buy from you. And then results, same thing. The more you connect yourself and your content with the results your people want, the more you're going to see that trajectory of like, someone comes in, they read my content, they connect with me. They read it enough that they just see me as the person to get that result and they convert. It's kind of that simple. And again, I'm not saying every single one of these has to be in every single piece of content, but pretty realistically, you could put it in most of them. Like, most of your content should speak to what's in it for them, should have what they're struggling with, should have value, should just throw in one little sentence of credibility, and should tie back to the result. Again, like, you could probably find a bunch of posts of mine in here that don't have every one of these so explicitly, but the more you do this, I promise, the more your audience is going to start to connect with you and to see you as someone they need to buy from if they have that pain point and if they want that result that you offer. So whether you've been doing content just for a little bit, like I was saying, or a really long time, sometimes this is actually harder when you've been writing content for a really long time, because you almost get in the mindset that like everyone should know, or you said it all a ton, right? This is what happens to a lot of my clients that are way further along and I've been writing content for so long, like it's easy to get out of touch with some of these things. So just like put this little checklist next to you when you're writing content. What's in it for them? Pain point, value, credibility marker, result. Put that next to you and just, write your stuff out and then go back and be like, can I add these things? That's something I do a lot, is like just get it out and then go back and be like, oh, but let me add this sentence to tie it to the result. Oh, let me add this credibility marker of a client example. Oh, let me add this little pain point piece in, right? So you can still flow with your content, but then you can go back and give it kind of like a strategic run through and make sure some of these pieces are in there so that you still are getting to like share from your heart in a way that feels really good, but you're also still making sure your content is working for you, that it's serving you to make more connections, that it's actually going to convert for you in the long run because you're putting in all that time. So we want to make sure it does those things for you too. So hope that helps. I will just drop a little note with the 5 points just so you can grab them and copy and paste them if that would be helpful for you if you want it. And that's pretty much it, guys. What I have forgotten to say on here though, so let me do this now for a little bit, is remember, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching with me, that I have a one-on-one waitlist. So you can get on the waitlist now, alituplife.com/waitlist, which I will put below, and be on our waitlist for next year. The beautiful benefit of being on it right now as well is that you can submit questions to me each month and you get private access to like a little mini membership where you can watch all the videos of questions I've answered previously and also get access to a private podcast feed so you can listen to them as well. We have months and months of questions in there now, and some of them are really good and really detailed and really specific. It's also just nice that you get to ask yours as well. And it's anonymous. Like I obviously would know your name and asking, but I never say like, oh, so-and-so has asked this question. So you can submit any question that you would want to submit there that you maybe wouldn't want to ask on a live stream as well. So alituplife.com/waitlist. I'll put these 5 points below, and I am so thankful for you guys. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing Thanksgiving week. If you are in the US, I am wildly thankful for all of you and for this community and for how you guys show up here, the value you guys give here, and just for the love I always feel every time I'm in here. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I love you all, and I hope that you have a beautiful week. Bye, guys.